Hello, friends, and welcome back to another book haul reaction video where I let you know whether or not I regret getting rid of books that I got rid of years ago and whether or not I need to repurchase them. This is video number 8 of a lot and takes place in September of 2019. We have taken a jump. So we're looking at September 20th, 2019, a solid 4 years ago. So we're going to see if I regret any of the books that I got rid of in this haul and whether or not I need to repurchase them. Go ahead and leave me a comment down below. Place your odds. Make your bets before we start because we're getting into some newer books. We're getting into some newer books, and you never know. This might be the one where I regret something. I'm waiting for it because I do know that at some point, I have some regrets and I have repurchased a couple things. So, could be this one. What do you say we get started? Because it looks like this video is 16 minutes long. And you know that I get wordy. So we're going to keep this simple. Right? Let's move this to the side and we'll see how this goes. Are we ready? I did a beginning of the year unhaul, and I haven't done another one since, but I have been steadily shoving books into a corner to get ready to pass on an unhaul. And it's time to do another official video so that we can purge my shelves and make room for more stuff. I've been doing a lot of sending to friends. I've been a lot of taking books to friends when I was traveling and dropping them off and giving them to another home, sending books away when they come in and I'm just not reading them. 36 books to get rid of right now. So we're going to go through them pretty quickly. 36
Some of them I've read, some of them I have not. I'll give you a little synopsis if I can and just let you know why I'm getting rid of it. All right, so like I said, 36 books, a lot to go through. We're just going to jump right into it. All right, first up is going to be The Chestnut Man. This one is by Soren Sveinstrup. This one came to me unsolicited, and while I appreciate that, Harper kind of missed the mark on this one. However, I did give this to my 90-year-old grandmother. She did read it. She said it was absolutely terrifying.
So here's the thing. I feel like I've read that since then. We read The Chestnut Man. Did we read The Chestnut Man?
You did.
I did. I do read those books. I do now. I don't know that I would regret not having the physical copy of it. I did enjoy it. Like if I still had it, that would be fine. I don't think it's something I need to repurchase because I would never reread it. Had I had the forethought to realize I was going to read it and that I was going to become somebody who loved thriller horror, I probably would have kept it, but I don't need to have it back. But that's one where I'm like, wish I'd paused for a second because I do think I probably would have kept it. Like post-read, it's not one where I'd be like, ugh, and gotten rid of it. But I don't feel the need to repurchase it. So not a true regret, but like a,
Go. Brody Ashton Everneath series. This one was perfectly fine. It was a 3-star read all around for all of the books, but I listened to them on audiobook. I think I talked about it when I did my wrap up for this series. I wasn't going to keep them because I just don't think that they're anything particularly special. So they're going to go to a used bookstore and I'm just going to get rid of those because I'm never going to read them again. I'm getting rid of The Half-Life of...
Okay, so I don't regret getting rid of that series. Again, it was a perfectly fine audiobook read, nothing special, definitely for the time period, like very on par for when they were published. This one also don't regret. I do think I read that. I don't know that I could actually tell you very much about it. Did I? Maybe I didn't. Either way, I'm fine with it.
Molly Pierce by Katrina Leno. I don't dislike Katrina Leno's writing, but I have heard from people that love Katrina Leno's writing that this is just not her best work. So I just feel like this is never going to happen for me. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to somebody else because I don't want to keep that if I don't really think I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the Winter's Curse trilogy. I feel bad. I think Winter's Kiss, Chelsea sent to me. She sent me one of these and I appreciate that very much. But in the grand scheme of things, I have realized that I have so many books waiting for me, like so many books. This is such an old series, and while I am sure it's perfectly fine, I don't think I'm ever going to read it. I don't think it's ever going to pull me away from more current reading.
I stand by that. I don't think that that's one that I ever would have gotten to. It would have sat on my shelves for forever. And eventually, if it hadn't been this video, it would have been another one. They were never going to make the cut.
Reads that I would like to get to. I don't know if it's as relevant if I go ahead and try to read this at this point. I just feel like I am taking up space on my shelves because I like the idea of reading them, but I just don't think it's ever going to actually happen. So I'm going to get rid of these. And if I ever change my mind, I am sure I can find them some other format. 3 Dark Crowns and 1 Dark Throne. I don't have the rest of this series. I'm not uninterested in continuing. Absolutely enjoyed both of these reads. I don't love them, right? Like, it's not a favorite series for me. So they're kind of taking up room. I think I'm going to send this one off to Amber and any other signed books off to Amber to sell at half price books because it is signed.
Yeah, I never continued with that, and I'm not upset to not have them. I'm not sitting here thinking like, "Oh my gosh, what happened? I wish I knew." Like, I'm okay with this.
I don't think I need it in my life. I will continue with the series, but probably from the library.
No, I won't.
Next up, we have Moxie. This one, oh, that was by Kendara Blake. 1 Dark Throne and Marie Rakowski. The other, you guys know, they're not new books. Moxie is by Jennifer Matthew. I bought this because it looked really cool. People were reading it. Everybody was loving it. I haven't heard a ton about it since then, and it is not calling to me. It's not doing anything for me. I haven't read it yet. I just don't think I'm going to. I know it's kind of one of those, like, the girls fight back kind of books, and I feel like I've read a lot of those recently, and this is just not calling to me anymore. I might let you guys have, like, one collective veto. So if there's one book that I talk about that you guys are like, absolutely keep it and read it, let me know. Next up is The Gone Dead. This is by Chanel Benz. This one was a BookCon book, BEA.
Yeah, I don't regret Moxie.
Book. This one is about a girl who doesn't know very much about her father, but then he dies. He leaves her this estate. She goes back and tries to, like, uncover these different mysteries. I believe it is an Own Voices story for POC. It's a debut novel about race, injustice, and memory that lay bare the long concealed wounds of a family and a country. I'm sure it's going to be very impactful. This one actually came out in June, and I just never got to it, and I just don't think I'm going to. Speaking of June, I'm getting rid of A Million Junes by Emily Henry.
That was the cheesiest segue, but no, I'm okay with both of these. These were okay life choices.
I've read other of Emily Henry's work before. I read The Love That Split the World, and I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. She actually wrote in here, like, Julie and Joy, Kelly, and I think we did a trade for this. Like, I had something that she was interested in, and I sent it to her, and she sent me this. And people that know me really, really well have said, it's not bad, but I don't think it's going to be your kind of book. I don't think you're going to enjoy it. And if you do read it, I think the most it's going to get is like a 3-star. So I'm not going to keep it. Then we've got a couple arcs that I'm going to get rid of because I never got to them, or I did get to them and I don't need them anymore. Prom. This one is by Sandra Mitchell. That's really funny. I think I just mentioned Sandra Mitchell in an Unhaul, Anti-Haul. Anyway, this is a novelization of a play that was on Broadway. We went to see it.
Oh man, remember Anti-Halls? Yeah, no, this one I'm okay letting go. I saw the Broadway play. I don't need the book. It was great that they gave it to me. That's fantastic, but no thank you.
With Penguin Teen when we were in New York for BookCon and BEA. I loved the play. There was a little bit of controversy surrounding the book because the sexuality was changed and an identity was changed. And not that that's what's keeping me from reading it, but I saw the play. I loved the play. I don't think I'm ever going to read the book, so it's going to go. I'm also getting rid of The Wife Between Us. This one is by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Peckaden. I've never read anything by either of these authors. This one, I believe, was also sent to me by somebody who thought that I would appreciate and enjoy this book. I believe also in a trade, and it is an arc, but it came out in January 2018, and I don't think I'm ever going to read it. Again, that was another one that somebody said was perfect.
No, even now as a thriller and like psychological thriller, whatever reader, that's never been one where I'm like, ooh, I should pick that up. Granted, yes, people talk about it, but it's not one where I'm like, I wish I knew what I thought about that one. So I'm okay getting rid of that because at no point since becoming a reader of that genre have I thought that that was one I needed to read.
Get rid of The OK Witch, which is by Emma Steinkellner. This one actually is signed. I got this at ALA, And this one is going to go into like a little library because I read it, I enjoyed it, I didn't love it, I 3-starred it, and I think this is a really cute graphic novel arc. It doesn't have full color. Some of it is black and white, some of it is color, but I think that in a little free library, somebody might really enjoy this. So I'm going to go ahead and put that into one of those when I go with the kids because they have them at a lot of the playgrounds around me.
Which is exactly what I did do, and hopefully some kid picked it up and really loved it, but I was okay passing that one on.
96 Words for Love. This one is by Rachel Roy and Ava Dash. This one is an Indian love story. This came out in January. I never got to it. I don't think I'm going to get to it anytime soon. I haven't heard anybody talking about it. I feel like I'm just going to go ahead and pass that along to somebody else who might enjoy it more. Super Fun Sexy Times, which is by Meredith McLaren. This one.
Yeah, I'm okay with both of these. I did read the Super Fun Sexy Times. I can't believe I got rid of that. Where did I put that? Where did I unhaul that? Shouldn't have. But no, I'm okay with both of these.
One is a not safe for work erotic graphic novel. I read it. I'm not going to read it again. I don't need to keep it. I'm going to get rid of Little Witches, Magic and Concord. This one is by Lee Dragoon. This one was a really cute arc as well. Read it, enjoyed it. Don't think I'm going to read it again. I'm going to put it in a little free library. I'm going to get rid of Gabby Dunn's Bury the Lead. This one was a really interesting graphic novel, adult, also a little bit of smexy time, lots of violence, that I really enjoyed a lot. But again, I don't think I need to keep it.
I'm all right with both of those. I don't remember Bury the Lead at all. So the fact that I was like, I loved it, I have no clue. I have no active memory of that. So
Chris, The Gift of Wrath by Ted Nefay and Warren Wing. Good Lord. I read it. It was perfectly fine. I didn't love it. I'm not going to keep it. I don't think I need it in my life. Patrick Ness's The Rest of Us Just Live Here. This one is about the people that are not the...
yeah, there was a lot of graphic novels that I picked up there, and I was really happy to read them. Again, they were fast, they were quick, but my graphic novel collection is pretty honed in. Like, I don't have a wide graphic novel collection, and I don't regret not having any of those. And as for this book, I don't even know that I read this one physically. I think I read it in audiobook. I'm not 100% sure, but that's definitely not one that I'm going to revisit or that I needed. So we're okay with this.
The heroes of the story. They are the sidekicks of the story. It was perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong with it, but I didn't love it. I do have tabs in here, but it's not annotated or written in. It's just tabbed. It wasn't like a standout book for me. I don't think it's...
All right. Well, then I did read it physically, but again, still, I'm okay with it.
It's ever going to be a reread for me. Also, I'm going to be getting rid of Daughter of a Siren Queen. Not because I don't love this book. I do. I actually really, really enjoy this series. I'm keeping Daughter of a Pirate King because it is signed. It was an Owl Crate book. But this one I read in audiobook, and I actually don't mind the audiobook formats, even though the main character does have an accent that I don't love. I do think it is a fantastic, fun pirate story. I love it. I just don't think I'm going to reread it. If I do, I can read the audio.
So I got rid of that, and I have since gotten rid of the first one as well. They came out with gorgeous new special editions or like anniversary editions that have come out recently. For a moment, I considered repurchasing them, but I haven't even finished the series. I have not continued past the first 2 books, and I don't really like, I'm not feeling called to do so, so I'm not going to spend money buying the books just because they came out with really pretty versions.
Allegedly by Tiffany D. Jackson. This one has been on my shelf for a very long time. I have never picked it up. I do know that the audiobook is on Hoopla, so if I want to read this, I can listen to the audiobook. I think that's probably going to be the best way for me to consume this novel. And I do know that it's just a hard-hitting, really rough read. So I think audiobook might be the best way anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it because it is like a chunker. It's taking up like a solid amount of room on my shelf. 99% Mine by Sally Thorne, which was sent to me by the publishers.
Okay, so both of these are fine. I never looked up the audiobook for that. I never tried to read Allegedly. I just let it go. And then as for 99% Mine, 100% never read it. Never even tried to read it. Have never looked it up. Have never tried to see if it was at the library or on audiobook. Like, I'm not going to read it.
Getting rid of The House by Christina Lauren, which you guys will see in a wrap up for September. I did read this. I have a couple backlist titles by Christina Lauren that I wanted to get to. This is a YA thriller, and I read it by audiobook on Hoopla, and it was really interesting and so different from their current work. I didn't hate it at all. It was a 3-star read. It was perfectly fine, but I don't need the physical copy because, again, the audiobooks are always there for me. I'm going to be getting rid of Open Road Summer by Emery.
Okay, so I did unhaul The House by Christina Lauren directly to Amber. So it's currently still in my house, but it's on her shelf, not on mine. And it was fine. It was a cool, ghost story, haunted house story. I'm okay having passed that along. And I'm also not a huge Emery Lord fan. Is that the one with the country singers? I don't know. Either way, I'm okay letting that one go.
Lord, this one, did I write in this? I think I just tabbed it. Her best friend is like a superstar country musician, so she goes on tour with her friend after this heartbreak to just try to get her mind off of things. And then her opener, the guy that's opening for her, ends up being some super dreamy dude, and they end up having a flirtation and a relationship, and it's just like a road trip music band rock star story. It was cute. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm never going to reread it. And I just don't think I need to have it on my shelves anymore. So it's going to go. I'm getting rid of Tell Me No Lies. This one is by A.V. Geiger. This is the follow-up to Follow Me Back. Very interesting. Actually really like this series. I just don't think I need it physically to keep because, again, it's a thriller. Once you've read it, I'm not going to reread it. I'm getting rid of Extraordinary.
So I did read this one too, and I'm okay getting rid of both of those. There was nothing wrong with them, but again, they're not ones that stand out to me, not ones that I would ever revisit, not ones that I was ever going to talk about. I was never going to reference them in future videos. They were just middle of the road, perfectly fine reads, but not ones that I was going to ever really discuss. So these were good decisions.
Means by Robin Schneider. This one was one of the ones that my niece wanted me to read this year, and I read it, and it was fine, but it was nothing extraordinary, ironically. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that one. The One Memory of Flora Banks by Emily Barr, because I have heard not great things about it. This one's actually an uncorrected galley. Came out in May 2017. I don't know how I got a galley. I feel like I bought this on Book Outlet, didn't I? Also getting rid of Sarah Dessen's Dreamland because all of these.
Yeah, I'm fine getting rid of that. I was never going to read it. I'm not sure how I got a hold of it, but I was never going to read it. And again, I've said it multiple times. Sarah Dessen is not going to be somebody I ever keep. So this was a fine choice.
These are on audiobook, and I freaking loathe Sarah Dessen. I don't like her books. I have yet to find one of her books that I even remotely enjoy. I don't like it. I'm not keeping that. I don't know why I give her a chance anymore. I will not be in the future. I'm getting rid of Hate Notes by V. Keelan and Penelope Ward. This one was actually gifted to me by the amazing Erica. Thank you so much. I did read this. I didn't love it at all. It took a really long time to get to any kind of sexy time. I wasn't invested in the relationship. It just didn't do very much for me. Melissa Mars, Made for You. This one, don't like it, not keeping it. I physically tried to read this and I DNF'd it really, really early, which bums me out because I love her Wicked Lovely series. But then I have Fear of Missing Out, which I read in.
These were all fine life choices. I was never going to keep these.
Annotated. This is by Kate McGovern. This one is an ARC. This one was from March of 2019. This one is about a girl who has a terminal illness, and she decides that she wants to go and research and look into possibly getting herself frozen until a cure is available. And she has to talk to her parents about that, her boyfriend about that, and they do this like road trip to try to figure out if it's the right place to go to this like medical lab and ask questions. And I read it. It was fine, but I'm never going to reread it. Possibly the most upsetting of my unhauls. I think these are going to be the ones that you guys try to convince me.
So I don't know what's about to come up next, but I do remember that one now, and we're good. It's fine. I find it hard to imagine missing any of the ones that I've unhauled so far, and then kind of thinking back to the different ones that I got arcs of. I don't think any of them were really like super standouty. I have arcs of the books that I really love still on my shelves, and it's not many
to keep, and I'm not going to. History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera. This one I have read, and at the time I read it, I enjoyed it. I think looking back on it, it was kind of problematic. I don't know. I'm never going to reread it because I've read it now, right? And I don't love Adam Silvera's writing, and I'm realizing that. I really enjoyed More Happy Than Not. The premise of More Happy Than Not really does intrigue me, and the story really, really intrigued me, and I enjoyed the heck out of it because it was really the first thing I'd ever read kind of like that. His subsequent books I have not loved, so I'm going to go ahead and
That remains true. It's not a writing. I don't love his writing style, and I've read 3 of his books, and I've gotten rid of all of them. I think I have owned at one point all of them and unhauled all of them. So I made wise decisions here.
get rid of History's All You Left Me. I'm also going to get rid of They Both Die at the end, which was sent to me by Amber, and I appreciate you so much. I did read this, and I think I read this in audiobook.
I did.
It was fine, but I didn't love it. Again, I just don't think I love his writing. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And then this one I haven't read yet. This one I know for sure was a gift from Amber. I don't want to read it, I don't think. And that is What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. I know for a fact that this audiobook is on Hoopla, and I think if I ever try to give it a read, I'm going to listen to it.
I never have. I never have tried to give that a read. And I don't think she's mad at me. I think it's okay. Are you angry at me if I've unhauled books you bought me? Yeah, she said no. She's cool with it. Yeah, I'm okay having gotten rid of these. They weren't for me. And neither of those authors are for me. So it's okay.
But I have not heard good things about this book at all. And it is big. Like, it's chunky. And while I love the way it looks on my shelf, because I actually do like the colors of it, I'm not going to physically read this. If I read it at all, I'll listen to it. So it's taking up room, and I think I am officially getting rid of every Adam Silvera book that I own. But just know that my bookshelves, like, I went through them last night and pulled another 13 books off of my shelves to include in this video because I have no room to put anything. So I really need to get through some of my arcs so that I can decide what I'm keeping, what I'm not. I have books all the way up on the top of my shelf with bookends to try to like get more space up that way. I've got a book cart right here that you can now see in my shots. I'm doing what I can to maintain the amount of space that I have, even though I have more space than I did when I started this channel with my one little tiny bookshelf. Not everything can stay. So I think the majority of this I've read though, so I'm proud of that. If there's anything that I said I didn't read.
All right. So that was everything for that particular one. And I am fine with the choices that I made. There was none of those outside of maybe the Chestnut Man where I was like, oh, I would have probably kept that, or I could have kept that. But again, not enough so that I'm like, oh, I should go repurchase that. The Chestnut Man was fine. It wasn't something where I'm like bummed I don't have it on my shelf still. I do think it's hilarious that I said they just missed the mark and this is not a book for me, because it is. It's at least my current reading taste. But yeah, no, these were all good life choices. We'll see, going forward. But it is interesting to look back at these because they were very much that particular time frame of BookTube, what everybody was reading. And it's amusing to kind of go back and look and realize that was 4 years ago. But I've been on BookTube for a minute. Like, I was making videos back in the beginning of 2016 or like mid 2016. So it's been another one without any regrets. That's the long and the short of it. We shall see. Any of these that you were like, hey, that's my favorite book, you're rude, let me know in a comment. You're free to disagree. But that's going to be it for now. If you like this one, go ahead and give me a big thumbs up, click subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, friends.